The moment your eyes open in the morning, your mind hasn't yet remembered yesterday. Your body hasn't yet tightened. And your identity, the one that wears a name, a story, and a list of problems, hasn't fully clicked in. In those first 30 to 60 seconds, you are more powerful than you'll be at any other point in the day. But for most people, this sacred window is immediately lost to a screen. You reach for your phone without thinking. Notifications, news, messages, a flood of external energy hijacks your nervous system before you've even taken a conscious breath. And just like that, you begin the day in reaction, not intention. Here's the truth no one told you. How you feel in the first few moments after waking isn't random. Your brain is still in theta and alpha brainwave states, modes associated with deep learning, creativity, and subconscious access. You are highly impressionable. You're not fully you yet. And that's exactly why what you say, feel, or focus on now imprints deeper than it will at any other time of day. So before you check your phone tomorrow morning, try this instead. Pause. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe in slowly through your nose. And say this out loud or silently. I choose the energy I carry today. These 7 words do something extraordinary. They remind your subconscious and the quantum field that you're the one setting the tone. Not your inbox, not your social feed, not yesterday's stress, you. By claiming your vibration before input floods in, you move from passive consumer to conscious creator. You don't need to meditate for an hour. You don't need a complicated ritual. You just need one clear, intentional moment. This single practice can ripple out into how you think, respond, create, and connect throughout the day. Because you're no longer chasing energy. You're broadcasting it. And here's the secret. When you stop giving your first attention to noise, life starts responding to your signal instead. So tomorrow, before the world enters, speak your energy into it. One breath, one choice. Watch what shifts. You might be wondering, can a single phrase really shift your entire day? The answer is yes, but not because the words themselves are magic. It's because of when you say them and the state your body and mind are in when you do. Right after waking, your brain is transitioning from deep delta sleep into slower alpha and theta brainwaves, the same states accessed in meditation and hypnosis. This means that your subconscious mind, which governs up to 95% of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, is wide open and impressionable. Think of it like freshly fallen snow. Whatever you impress on it leaves deep tracks. Now, when you reach for your phone immediately, your brain skips this soft, open state and jumps straight into beta waves, alert, reactive, problem-solving mode. This is great when you need to solve a crisis. But first thing in the morning, it pushes you into fight or flight before you've even stood up. Stress hormones like cortisol spike, your nervous system goes into defense, and your energy becomes fragmented before you've even had water. But here's the shift. When you pause and speak a clear, grounded phrase before engaging with the outside world, you're doing more than being positive. You're giving your body a message of safety. You're telling your nervous system, we don't need to brace for impact today. We are in control. And your body listens. This is where quantum physics meets neurobiology. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart and brain begins broadcasting your signal into the field the moment you wake up. That signal can either be fragmented from stress and distraction or coherent from clarity and intention. The clearer your signal, the more aligned your experiences become throughout the day. And it all begins with a few seconds of conscious choice. When you say something like, I choose the energy I carry today, you're not just speaking to yourself. You're speaking to the field around you. You're establishing resonance. Over time, this small habit builds something powerful, a new baseline for your thoughts, emotions, and responses. You don't need to control your day. You just need to start it in alignment. And that begins before the scroll. Let's talk about the actual phrase that can begin to shift your entire experience. If you say it before you check your phone, before your mind starts racing, and before the outside world takes hold of your attention. The phrase is simple, but powerful. I'm choosing how I feel. You might wonder how such a short statement can make any real difference, but here's the truth. Most people spend their entire day reacting to messages, to headlines, to pressure, to old thought patterns that flood in automatically. But when you speak this phrase before your first thought fully forms, you're sending a message to your subconscious. I am the one directing the energy today. Not my notifications, not my doubts, not yesterday. And this isn't about fake positivity. This is about remembering that in every moment, especially the first moment of the day, you have influence over your emotional state. Your awareness is like a tuning fork. Whatever emotion you set in motion first tends to echo through the day. Let's take it deeper. When you say, I am choosing how I feel. You activate your reticular activating system, the filter in your brain that determines what you notice and focus on. This subtle shift trains your mind to seek out experiences that match your chosen emotional tone: calm, clarity, joy, or groundedness. And from an energetic perspective, your heart's electromagnetic field begins to stabilize. Your breath slows. Your body exits survival mode and moves into coherence, a physiological state where your systems sync up and send out a strong, clear signal into the quantum field. It's like telling the universe, I'm not available for chaos right now. I'm tuned into something higher. You don't need to feel 100% peaceful in the moment. You just need to declare your willingness to choose, rather than be swept away. So tomorrow morning, before your hand reaches for your phone, pause. Take a breath. Place a hand over your heart. And quietly remind yourself, I'm choosing how I feel. That one moment of awareness may not fix everything, but it will shift your frequency. And when you shift your frequency, everything begins to respond differently. By now, you understand that those first moments after waking hold incredible power. But here's something even deeper. The first signal you send into the world each morning becomes the foundation of your energetic blueprint for the entire day. Think of it like tuning an instrument. If the first note is sharp or off-key, everything that follows sounds a little bit off too. But when that first note is calm, intentional, and clear, your whole day begins to fall into harmony with that vibration. So what's really happening when you check your phone first thing? You're unconsciously handing over your signal to someone else. A message, a crisis, a post, a memory. Before your own intention can rise, your energy is already being pulled in multiple directions. You're reacting before you've even remembered who you want to be today. But when you pause and speak a phrase like, I am the source of my state, you reclaim that power instantly. This isn't a feel-good affirmation. It's a reminder of a biological and energetic truth. You don't have to feel amazing right away. You just have to choose to be in relationship with your state instead of being ruled by it. Saying, I am the source of my state activates your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-awareness, conscious decision-making, and regulating emotion. From this place, you begin to shift from unconscious habit into deliberate intention. And here's what's even more powerful. The heart and brain begin to sync up. This is known as heart-brain coherence, and it's a scientifically measurable state that creates clarity, balance, and emotional resilience. When you speak an intentional phrase in this state, it imprints more deeply into your nervous system and your field. The field, the invisible web of energy that connects you with life, isn't listening to your words alone. It's listening to your signal, and your signal is clearest when it comes from a place of grounded intention. So tomorrow, before the scroll, the noise, the notifications, pause. Take a breath. Place your hand on your heart and speak this: I am the source of my state. Because when you begin your day from the inside out, life begins responding in kind. We often think transformation requires a massive overhaul, hours of meditation, life-changing routines, or sudden breakthroughs. But in truth, the most lasting change starts with one small moment of awareness, repeated consistently over time. And no moment is more potent than the first minute after you wake up. Before your brain fully reboots, before the to-do list returns, before the digital world demands your attention. In that quiet space, your subconscious is more accessible. Your nervous system is soft. Your energy hasn't yet decided what kind of day it will be. This is your chance. Before you check your phone, speak this phrase: Today, I choose presence over pressure. It's not just poetic, it's neurological. Most people wake up already bracing for the weight of the day. They're thinking about what they have to do, who they have to be, what could go wrong. That pressure sends a clear signal: survive first, connect later. But when you say, I choose presence over pressure, you interrupt that loop. You gently retrain your brain to orient toward now instead of next. And in that stillness, something amazing happens. Your creativity returns. Your breath deepens. You feel possibility again. This isn't just about feeling calm. It's about choosing the energy that fuels your action. Pressure tends to create frantic motion. Presence allows for aligned movement. From a scientific perspective, you shift from a beta-dominant brainwave state, associated with stress and constant mental chatter, into a more balanced rhythm that supports flow, insight, and regulation. And energetically, the field responds not to how hard you're trying, but to how clear your vibration is. Presence is a clean frequency. It says, I trust the process. I'm not forcing life. I'm in rhythm with it. This 1-minute ritual is simple. 1. Wake up. 2. Place your hand over your heart. 3. Breathe deeply. 4. Whisper, "Today, I choose presence over pressure." That's it. But don't underestimate its power. Do it for 7 days and watch what shifts. How you respond, how you speak, what you attract. Because the difference between a chaotic day and a centered one might be just one sentence, spoken before the scroll begins. If you've ever felt like your life is on autopilot, like no matter how hard you try, the same patterns keep repeating, there's likely one moment you're overlooking. It's not during your meditation. It's not in your journal. It's those first few seconds after you wake up. That's when your signal begins. See, before you even leave your bed, your body is already sending messages into the field. Your electromagnetic frequency, the energetic imprint created by your thoughts, emotions, and physiological state, is already active, and the field responds to that frequency. Not to your words later in the day, not to your vision board, but to who you're being now. This is why it's so important to claim your energy before the world pulls you into reaction. And the truth is, you don't need a long morning routine to shift this. You just need to pause, take a breath, and speak one simple phrase that communicates your readiness to engage with life from a place of trust and alignment. Try this. I am aligned with the version of me I choose to be. This is not just an affirmation, it's an activation. By speaking these words right after waking, you are telling your brain what to focus on. You're instructing your nervous system to regulate toward clarity and confidence. You're shifting your subconscious away from the default patterns of fear, doubt, or resistance, and toward the reality you actually want to embody. And when you do this consistently, something incredible begins to happen. Your outer world starts catching up to your inner signal. That's not magic, it's alignment. And it begins with what you decide to emit before input floods in. So tomorrow when your eyes open, don't rush. Before checking your phone, before stepping into yesterday's energy, place your hand over your heart, breathe slowly, and say, I am aligned with the version of me I choose to be. Because when you begin your day in coherence, the universe doesn't have to guess who you are. It recognizes the frequency and meets you there. One phrase, one breath, a completely different reality. We live in a world addicted to urgency. The moment you wake up, there's a pull. The notifications, the emails, the alerts. Your phone lights up, and without realizing it, your energy starts scattering before you've even taken a conscious breath. And here's what no one tells you. Every time you skip that first sacred moment, you pay a cost. It's not just about distraction. It's about missing your most powerful energetic window, that fragile space between sleep and wakefulness, where your mind is impressionable, your nervous system is calm, and your subconscious is listening. When you check your phone immediately, you bypass that openness. Your brain jumps straight into beta, analytical, reactive, and task-focused. Your body braces, your breath shortens, and suddenly, you're not choosing your energy, you're inheriting it from a screen. But what if instead you claim just 60 seconds for yourself? A breath, a phrase, a frequency you choose before the world chooses for you. Try saying this the moment you wake up. My energy is mine, I decide how this day begins. This phrase does more than soothe. It reclaims. It anchors you back into sovereignty, the truth that your state is not something life controls. It's something you direct. From a neurological perspective, this brief act activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for rest, restoration, and clarity. Your heart rate slows. Your body exits fight or flight. You become a steady signal instead of a scattered one. From an energetic perspective, you stop chasing alignment and begin broadcasting it. Because when you begin your day with presence, the field reflects that clarity back to you. Not because you forced anything, but because you started from alignment instead of chaos. So here's the invitation. Before you touch your phone, touch your heart. Before you read a message, send your own signal. And before the world tells you who to be, remind yourself, my energy is mine, I decide how this day begins. It's not about perfection, it's about ownership. And that one moment of claiming your energy might just be the shift that changes everything. By now, you've heard this theme repeating. What you do in the first moments after waking matters. But let's take that even deeper, because you're not just waking up into a day, you're waking up into a field of infinite possibility. And the signal you emit in those first moments determines which version of reality begins to respond. Here's the thing. When you reach for your phone first, you aren't just checking messages. You're tuning your energy to external noise. You're unconsciously telling your system, the outside world decides how I feel today. That may seem small, but over time, it wires your brain to react instead of create. You become a mirror to your environment rather than a magnet for your intention. Now imagine the opposite. You wake up, you pause, you breathe. And before anything else, you say, I choose to start with inner alignment, not outer noise. This isn't just a phrase, it's a pattern interrupt. It breaks the habitual trance of reaction and invites you back into presence. It reminds your brain, we are safe, we are sovereign, we get to choose how this day begins. From a scientific standpoint, this activates coherence between your heart and brain. When you're in that state, your body functions better. Your thoughts become clearer, your emotions become more balanced, and most importantly, your energetic field stabilizes. That stability is what the quantum field responds to. Not your words, not your goals, but the frequency behind them. So when you speak this phrase with intention, your entire system recalibrates. You become a tuning fork, not to stress, but to stillness. Not to fear, but to focus. This is how small changes ripple outward. The next time you wake up, resist the urge to scroll. Resist the reflex to absorb the outside world before you've created your own inner one. Instead, say it clearly, even softly. I choose to start with inner alignment, not outer noise. Because the world will always be loud. But your power begins in silence, when you remember that your energy is not random. It's a broadcast, and you're the one holding the dial. Let's be honest. Life is full of things we can't control. The traffic, the emails, the curveballs, the energy of others. But there's one sacred space where your power is untouched, and it begins the moment your eyes open. That first minute before you check your phone, before the headlines, before the scroll, is where momentum begins. It's easy to dismiss those early moments as ordinary, but what if they're not? What if that tiny window before your nervous system reboots yesterday's stress is actually the launch pad for everything you want to feel today? Here's a phrase to anchor that idea. Before anything enters, I set the tone. Say it slowly. Feel it in your chest. Because when you speak it sincerely, you stop living in reaction and start living in rhythm with yourself. Why does this matter? Because every day you wake up, you're stepping into a vibrational field, both your own and the collective's. If you don't claim your signal, something else will. Social media, worry, habit, all of them are ready to decide for you how your day unfolds. But when you begin by saying, before anything enters, I set the tone, you are planting a flag in your own awareness. Biologically, this matters. It keeps your cortisol from spiking. It keeps your heart from racing. You remain in a state of coherence, calm, clear, and receptive. Energetically, it matters even more. Because the frequency you begin with is what the field responds to throughout the day. When you broadcast calm, you attract flow. When you broadcast chaos, you invite resistance. And the best part? You don't have to feel perfect. You only need to become intentional. So tomorrow, before your thumb taps the screen, tap into your own inner space. Breathe, be still, and speak. Before anything enters, I set the tone. You are not powerless to the day ahead. You are the one setting its frequency, one quiet moment at a time. And when you begin from within, the world around you starts to shift in ways you never expected. By now, you understand something powerful. The first few moments of your morning are not random. They're sacred. They are a portal, a reset. A space where your identity, emotions, and energy are soft enough to shape. But none of this matters unless you do one thing: integrate. You don't need to remember every phrase. You don't need to master a complicated routine. You only need to make a simple choice to begin your day from the inside out. Because here's the truth. Change doesn't happen through information. Change happens through repetition. And every morning you wake up and speak a conscious phrase before checking your phone, you're not just changing your day. You're rewiring your baseline. You're telling your nervous system, safety starts here. You're telling your subconscious, we're not defaulting to fear today. You're telling the universe, I'm ready to meet life with intention. Even 2 minutes of stillness before the noise can shift everything. It sets a tone that ripples through every conversation, decision, and emotion that follows. So if there's one phrase to take with you from this journey, let it be this. Today, I lead with intention. Not reaction, not distraction, not the pressure of being perfect, just intention. And when you begin your day with that level of presence, you step into a rare kind of power. Not the kind that forces, but the kind that attracts. Not the kind that chases outcomes, but the kind that embodies alignment. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, pause. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe deeply. And speak. Today, I lead with intention. It's not about saying the right thing. It's about saying something that aligns you. It's about choosing to be the signal, not the noise. Because life is listening. Your energy is always speaking first, and the universe is responding to who you are in those quiet, unseen moments. Start there, repeat daily, and watch your entire reality begin to shift.